it's something that they discuss in the COPs, but this 4 per 1,000, if it's the national policy, is it being implemented? Because this is the way forward. Is it being implemented?
You want to answer?
Well, what I can say, but also will complement, is that one really a great achievement of the 4 per Million initiative was to raise awareness. And what I really appreciate in this initiative is that it associates food security and climate change. It's all about synergies. Now, this raising awareness, I think, has had consequences on the scientific community. Well, for example, the European Joint Programme Soil, I think, would not exist, and it's a big program, and it has raised a lot of debate among the scientific community. I think it has had a lot of influence also on policy, in particular at the European scale. It's really, there's a very strong momentum at the moment on soils at the European Commission. But the difficult part is implementation. And yes, farmers are the main stakeholders there, and it's not that easy, even though you know the principles. Applying them, implementing them, it's not that easy, and for me that's our challenge now in the 4 per Million initiative. So I could develop, but maybe I should, yes.
Yes, thank you, Claire. Yes, I think it has been moving countries and stakeholders, and I think we are moving from advocacy to understanding what is being done, what is being implemented. And that's really something I would like to see also, is that we have a monitoring of what is the land area that is really being now improved through actions from the governments, from the stakeholders that are members of this initiative. So in some ways, maybe we could help also with your campaign by having a sort of, way of looking at the progress that is being done.
Are there incentives to improve organic content in the soil?
Well, incentives are normally with politics, and we know that it's very fragmented the way it is done. We see some regions, we see some countries doing specific things, funding and so on, but I don't think we have a clear overview, and that's something we need to do.
And implementation is also about knowledge by farmers, well, training, exchanging with their colleagues. And I think there's a lot of progress there to help them to implement, to take risks, because it is taking risk when you apply a new, if you plant trees, you never planted trees, you're taking risks, so you need not to be alone.
And what is interesting is that, well, this is a particularity of France, is that the education of farmers, young farmers, is in the end of the Ministry of Agriculture. It's not in the end of the Ministry of Education in France. So the ministers, Stéphane Le Foll, who launched the 4 per Million initiative, stay at this ministry for 5 years. And in 5 years, it enforced law in order to introduce agroecology in the whole training of the young farmers. And even in the high-level school of engineer, they just also introduced that, because they consider that the new generation will come and will be able to implement it in the field. So it will come step by step. We need also incentive, we need policy. And also, you know that we are in Europe, and in Europe we are working with the European Union, and in European Union, the European Commission has the competencies for agriculture. So, and it's a huge boat. It's very difficult to turn direction of this boat. But it seems that the new Commission are turning quite significantly the direction and considering more soil, well, they call that carbon farming, you call that whatever you want, as far as you go in that direction. That's the idea of the 4 per Million initiative. This funny name is coming from a back-of-the-envelope calculation about the quantity of carbon we should add to the soil of the planet every year in order to compensate all what we are generating. Well, that's theoretical, of course. It's every year, it's everywhere. But it gives a direction. It's like the North. You follow the North.
I kind of, please correct me if I'm wrong. I kind of briefly or very superficially, I looked at the recommendations that are being made in the European Union for regenerative farming. Well, it's good, but it's unnecessarily complex. The government is trying to do farming by itself. Why are you doing farming? The farmer will do it the way he wants. See, the thing is just this, is there any argument at all? Because I have not found one person. In the last 2 years, I have spoken to thousands of people, scientists, bureaucrats, ministers, all sorts of people. Not one person has spoken to me in the negative. Everybody says, yes, 3% minimum organic content must be there, there's no question about that. Now you get into the nitty-gritty and the complexity for which crop, what should be more. This needs nitrogen, that needs phosphate, this needs this soil needs that kind of stuff. This is an endless amount of science. When I spoke to FAO and others, they're saying they have reams and reams of research that nobody can read. The volume is so big. Well, it's wonderful, so many scientists have invested their life in this could be useful sometime, but if it doesn't come into action, it is useless and waste of time and life. The science, our knowledge that we gain through somebody's investment of life into it must become useful. So I'm saying there is no debate at all anywhere in the world, either in the farmer's mind, I've spoken to the fertilizer companies and others, in nobody's mind there is any debate that organic content should go up in the soil. When there is no debate, why can't we make a policy like that? First thing is, if you own agricultural land, you must get it to 3%. What is the duration? Maybe in one soil you can say in 3 years you must get it, in another soil you can say 6 years you can get it. This is where the scientific community should come in and say, see, in this soil you can't get it to 3% in 3 years' time. It will take this much investments, let's do it in 6 years' time. But in general direction across the world, if each nation fixes what time, the only thing is the question will be only of pace, not of the fundamental principle. The fundamental principle that there should be organic content in the soil, because that is the food for the microbial life. Without that, we are starving them. If we starve them, they will starve us one day. It's just a question of time. So, that alone, if it is settled, the details of it can be done. Above all, I feel how the farming should be done should be left to the farmer. Others can advise, because farming ecology is… farming economy is such a fragile thing. If you try to do something, it'll go to suicide.
Maybe just to add something on this 4 per thousand, that's very close to what you said. Not all soils are the same, but if you think in terms, in relative terms, it is possible to increase by this 0.4% per year in most soil types. And this is why we said this would be an aspirational target. We don't say everybody will do it, but it would be feasible. And if done, it would have huge impacts on the planet.
So in 10 years, 4% is what you're talking.
0.4% per year.
I know, but in 10 years it'll be 4%.
Exactly, 4%.
Yes, and I wanted maybe to add on that. So I fully agree that setting an objective in terms of content of organic matter is really good, really desirable. But if you do that, and if you want to base incentives on that, it is having incentives based on results. Well, you can do it either by with cover crops, agroforestry. It's your problem, your farmer. Yeah. You choose.
Whichever
you choose
way.
What you know, what you can do. You choose. But if you want to have incentives, you need somehow to verify. At some stage, you need to measure. And then comes science. How can we measure soil carbon content at low cost? And there's a lot of research there. So we're not yet there in terms of measuring at low cost.
The Indian Institute of Technology in, I think it's Mumbai Institute, which is the Indian Institute of Technology, came up with a simple soil organic content testing thing, that if you take a certain amount of soil and put a certain solvent, it'll show you what is the organic content. Now, this may not be perfect, but it generally shows you what is the organic content. Now, how we are using it is, we just make a WhatsApp video call and tell the farmer, okay, poke it here, test it. Poke it there randomly at different places so that he's not making it up. So, within 10 minutes, you can have the test done. Right now, if you want to test a vegetable or a fruit, how much pesticide or whatever else is there in it, it's a massive lab work, all right? So, we have to have simple solutions, otherwise we'll be talking for too long. And the more we talk, more carbon dioxide will fill the atmosphere.
Well, at the end, I succeed to install a dialogue between each side of me. That's interesting. Well, I would like to almost conclude this very important and interesting discussion. Sharing an ambition with you, Sadhguru, with Conscious Planet, Save Soil, and we would like with 4 per mil to play for the major UN convention. It was said by Ambassador just before. This year, 2022, all UN convention, climate change, desertification, biodiversity, will have what they call the COP, well, Conference of Parties. Because they are not the same number, so the people confuse. The other one is 15, the other one is 27, so it just mixed up a little bit. Well, anyway, every 2 years, all the convention have their Conference of Parties. And this gives us the opportunity to rise high in the international agenda, the important subject of soil health. This is at the very heart of all crucial challenges the humanity is facing: climate change, biodiversity, and food security. Sadhguru, how can we work better than we never did, because before we never maybe know each other, with your enormous, fantastic movement of Conscious Planet, Save Soil, and our modest initiative on 4 per mil? We would like to work more with you, increase this awareness. So, what is your opinion? How can we work better together?
One thing is, right now I'm speaking at COP15 in the month of May in Ivory Coast, where 170 nations are supposed to participate. This is why I'm pushing people, goading people, threatening them also a little bit, that if they can get at least 3 billion people before we are at the COP, if that many people have spoken, the government representatives who come cannot negate it. No political party will go back on that, because politics is run on numbers. So will everything happen tomorrow morning? I'm a horribly pragmatic person. I'm not simply thinking romantically this is going to happen just overnight. We must begin to, at least we are going in the reverse direction, at least we must position ourselves in the right direction. At what pace each nation will go, at what pace each region will go, this is left to their… this thing, and some people will only wake up after disasters begin to strike, but at least we must be focused in the right direction. That is, there are organisms in the soil which not one or two, they are in trillions, okay? Trillion times more than us, and they are there in the soil and they are there in our body. 60% of our very body is microorganisms, only 40% is your parental genetics. I am not telling the children this because next time you, as a father, mother, you try to do something, they'll say, "See, you're only 20%, you don't tell me all this." So, one thing is to realize this body and the earth that you walk upon or the soil that you walk upon are not two different things. When will we get it? If we get it right now, we can do something significant, or we will anyway get it when we are buried. Then also you make good manure, but it's more useful to get it now. So, one important thing is the COP15 is an opportunity. Another is there is also a biodiversity COP a little later. There also there is a possibility. I am speaking at CHOGM, that is the Commonwealth nations. They have already given us a declaration. They will take to this 3% minimum organic content in Commonwealth countries, which accounts for 2.7 billion people population in the world. The CARICOM nations have already signed up. One of the CARICOM nations is talking about they want us to set up an experimental, like a demonstration. They want to give us an island about 3 to 4 square miles, set up 10 different crops, how it can be grown, how soil organic content can be improved. It is not necessary that you have to physically demonstrate, there are so many ways to do it. We have any amount of video material as to how it is done in India. where soil organic content has been improved, or water retention has been greatly enhanced simply because of the microbial activity. That is the way soil should be. Any soil, if you dig 3–4 inches with your finger, it should be damp. Right now it's dry to the core. This is death of organisms. Microorganisms need humidity and shade. Above all, you breathe, I know you breathe out carbon dioxide, but do you need oxygen or carbon dioxide? Why everybody's talking so much about carbon dioxide? We need to understand, see this moment, if you don't eat for 10 days, you may die. If you don't drink water for 3–4 days, you may die. But if you don't breathe for 3 minutes, you may die. You will die, rather. So what is it? In terms of air, right now the percentage of oxygen in this atmosphere is very vital for you. Scientists are saying 1 billion years ago, when there was no photosynthesis on this planet, the oxygen content in the atmosphere was a shade over 1%, 1.1% or something like that. Today it's 21%, so we're all breathing. But in the last 1,000 years, the volume of photosynthesis that has come down is 85%. 85% of photosynthesis on the planet is gone. 70% of the land is plowed, 4.2% of the land is paved. Nearly 76% of the land has no photosynthesis most of the time. In a year, agricultural land has photosynthesis of approximately maybe 4 months or 2 months or something like that, 4 to 6 months maximum. In tropical climates, here it's much less. Rest of the time, it's just bare. So there has to be more photosynthesis. Why are we continuously talking about carbon dioxide when oxygen is what we need? The oxygen content in the atmosphere has to go up. Means how it goes up means the carbon dioxide that we are terrified of, this plant takes it, breaks it down, makes it into carbon sugars, pumps it down into the soil, and that is the food for the organisms. They're waiting for it, and they are not simple people, they are very mean. Unless they get carbon sugars, they will not give the nutrients to the plant. That's a whole system out there. And the waste material, which the reject material is oxygen, which you and me need desperately, all right? So let's understand our position on the planet. Without us, the life will go on wonderfully well. Without them, we cannot live here. We are here because of them. They are not here because of us.
Yes, thank you very much. I think it's more than wise, what you said. I'm just now turning to the organizer, who was supposed to have a little bit of question and answer with the room. We have time? Okay, so the floor is open for question. Yes, this gentleman over there. You have a mic coming to you.
Hello. Good evening, panelists, and good evening, Excellencies, and good evening, everybody. My name is Satish Vegi, and I'm a water management engineer by profession. My question, first of all, I would like to thank for this excellent information, and I would like to also appreciate Sadhguru for this excellent movement, Save Soil. My question is, I think the madam, sorry I forgot your name, but you have mentioned about implementation. I think today after going back to home, I don't want to sleep. So I would like to check with you, what are the list of actions a common man can do to improve the organic content in the soil as a common person?
How much land do you have?
I don't have any land, but I can find some volunteers with whom I can work.
No, yeah. No, nobody wants to let you on their land. Right now, as a citizen of a democratic nation, you have a vote and you have a voice. Vote is your business, I will not mess with that. But your voice, this is the time to stand up and scream. Yes. To scream today, you have many tools and technologies like never before. This is the first time in the history of humanity that you can sit here and talk to the whole world. Never before it was possible. Many great beings have come in this world. When they spoke, hardly 10 people heard. This is the first time you can sit here and talk to the world. Now you're talking about going back and working in your neighbor's kitchen garden and fixing that. That's very cute of you, I appreciate. But it's not a solution. It is not a solution. You fixing your kitchen garden is very cute, but it's not a solution. A time has come when you need to understand 71% of the land on the planet is agriculture. If you don't fix that, you fixing your garden, me fixing my garden is not the solution.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
thank you.
I could…
Claire, do you want to answer anyway? No? It's okay? You got your answer, sorry.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
There were a gentleman just at the back. Yeah. Oh, yes, please. Madam, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thanks to Conscious Planet and to Isha Foundation for inviting me here. I come from Colombia. I live in Lyon. I had the great opportunity to meet Sadhguru thanks to my sister, and it was a year and a half ago. I didn't know you. Just before I've never heard about you. And since I heard about you, my life has changed because you are the one who helped me to show my students how to say consciously and awareness. And I would like to know how also can we improve to feel proud of being farmer, because that is very tough. People is losing this hope. I know that there are some initiatives, but how can also we change this storytelling globally? Thank you.
Well, we will be working with the Colombian government because it's there is substantial soil science today. So many people have invested their life into, exploring this science. Now, this science cannot reach the people because it's too technical, you will have to be a scientist to understand this, so you definitely need a story. To make a story out of science without distorting the fundamental aspects of science, but making it light enough for everybody to understand is right now the work. This is what I'm trying to do. I sought permission. I was just telling them when we met outside in the corridor outside or the lobby. When I went to Rome about 4 months ago, all the top scientists were sitting there and all the soil scientists from various agencies. I said, see, you have invested your lifetime into this. I know what it means to you. Nobody invests life into something that doesn't mean anything to them. It means something to them. But I have this moment and I'm going to make your science not simple, simplistic, I will make it. Is it okay? They said in one voice, I was surprised, Sadhguru, simplistic is the way forward. We have reams and reams of research that even academics and universities have not opened the books and read it ever. It's simply sitting there. It is simplistic is the way forward. When I met Ratanlal ji, he said, Sadhguru, this is what is needed. I've been waiting for someone like you to take this message. I have spoken whatever I can, but it just doesn't open doors. So not that just because I do this for 100 days, everything is going to happen. This is where, as responsible citizens, you matter, okay? This is not a one-day thing. You must keep this up in whichever way you can. Right now, how to do it, follow the journey, Save Soil on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Say something. Say something your own. Or go to the websites of World Food Programme or FAO, whatever, look it up. If you can't understand, go to the savesoil.org in a much simplistic way. It is there, pick that up and say whatever you want. If you don't know anything to say save soil, la la le le le. That much you can do. I'm saying whatever it is. And there is a Save Soil song, you can download it from the website. Let it reverberate in your home, in your community, in your country, in the world. Let it happen, because this is not about me. This is not about this journey. This is about changing the narrative on the planet. I cannot go and fix all the soil. Those people who are super knowledgeable about this, they cannot fix it. A democracy means only people can fix it. That's what it means. That is the only way to fix it. So, first of all, you need to understand, this is not an agitation, this is not a protest, this is an expression of our responsibility. I'm stressing on this because if you say environment, if you say ecology, first thing they ask is, whose face shall we bash? People are telling me, Sadhguru, we must get the children whipped up. I said, leave the children alone. Till a child is 15 years of age, let them grow up unconcerned, joyfully, eating well, playing well, sleeping well, learning well. That's what they should do. No, you want to whip up the children into hate. This is not a solution. If you get angry, you're causing global warming. Definitely you are, isn't it? So a child's way of handling emotions are such that if you put anger, hatred into their life early on, you're poisoning their life very early because they can't drop those things. It'll become a part of them in their whole life. So if you involve your children, ask your child to write a love letter to your Prime Minister. Right now, Isha Home School in India took this up upon themselves and they said they are going to get 10 million letters to our Prime Minister's office in India. We have not gotten to 10 million, some few millions have happened, but already Prime Minister's office is inundated with children's paintings and save soil messages and all kinds of things. You think the Prime Minister can ignore this? Hello? In any nation, you think they can ignore this? So I'm telling you, do this, get 1 million children in Colombia to write to your Prime Minister. Have 2 million children in France writing to your Prime Minister, because this is a way of expressing your commitment and responsibility. This is not a protest, this is not about a fight with somebody. Oh, Sadhguru, how will you fight with the fertilizer companies? I am not going to fight with the fertilizer companies, I want to acknowledge them in great gratitude because without them, half the population would be dead. You better know this. If you take away these things tomorrow, fertilizer, pesticide, this, that, everything, if you take away all the chemicals, our food production will come down to 25% of what it is. That means flattening of the populations. So let us not get into fanciful things. Increasing the organic content simply means this, you have strength in the soil. How to do the farming? Let the farmer decide how to do the farming. You can set the agenda by asking for a particular type of product in the marketplace, that's your business. But you can't tell the farmer how he should do the farming. And right now, this is one thing I like to bring to the scientists and also to your notice is, when I read this European Commission's, policy kind of thing, I've not studied it, I've just kind of looked at it. We are trying to say, okay, only this much fertilizer should be used, only this much pesticide should be used. This is not correct. I've lived on the farms, I've been with farmers. See, in here, if you have a particular type of soil, particular type of atmosphere, you may be using a certain amount of whatever chemicals. For the same crop, 5 kilometers away, or not even that much, a kilometer away, in another type of soil, you may have to use a different quantum of everything. So let the farmer decide how much to use. You decide what you want to eat in the marketplace. But if somebody says, if the gradation is like this comes from this much enriched soil, it's for you to pay more or less for that. And as to make this happen, share the Save Soil song, make Save Soil song reverberate everywhere, you can da-da-da. All this is… I'm not good at reading these things, okay? And there are… make Save Soil stickers and at least put it on your car if you… So, I don't have a car, okay, put it on your clothes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Find a solution. Don't go on picking problems in everything. There are enough problems in the world. We don't need you to research for new problems. There are substantial problems in the world. Let's see how to be a solution for something. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm afraid we don't have time for more questions, but we will move on to a short, beautiful video.
La 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 la. This very body is soil. My body, your body, everybody is just soil body. The magic of soil is it turns death into life. Depleted soils will not quench the fire of hunger. Unquenched hunger can burn the very world. This is a generational responsibility. Save soil. Let's make it happen.
Thank you, everyone. I request Ambassador Sir to kindly come onto the stage and we can have a group picture.
He asked me what is the common thing we can do. We have a small… Isha Foundation. Yes, and them.
So there's, as Sadhguru said, there must always be action. And as a consequence of this meeting, we already have one action, an MOU to be signed between Isha Foundation and 4,000 initiatives, Soils for Food Security and Climate, for cooperation in achieving our objective of creating a healthier soil. So this is how we have to move forward. Thank you very much. Thank you.
What is this?
There are 2 copies if they want to keep one with them.
Where is this? Table would have been nice, but once we'll finish this signature. Signing on the podium would be easier.
Okay.
Yes.
I already signed it.
You already signed, please.
Yes, yes, no, wait. We'll get it up.
That's a nice one.
There are 2 copies.
Ah, yes, so, please.
Thank you. Supposed to exchange.
Yes,
Hold it up for the photo.
one signature is missing, but we will send it to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
So I will send it
Yep.
to you. I will send it to you over because it's we need to be signed by another person.
Oh,
and I will
that's-
send both.
Thank you. Oh, you'll send both.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. So you have to. I will come over
You
here.
can come here, please.
No problem. Allez, here we are.
Le 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 le